So this lecture and next lecture will be about chapter 4 and we'll discuss two methods. This lecture nodal analysis, next lecture mesh analysis. So let's begin by looking at this circuit. Let us say you are given this circuit, so there are a bunch of resistors and there are two current sources connected in the circuit, and the question you are asked is find all the currents and voltages in the circuits VA, VB, VC, and the currents I1, I2, I3, I4, I5. What I would like you to do is pause this video and try and solve this circuit. You've solved circuits before in your 11th, 12th and all, and you've learned some what I would call ad hoc methods to solve circuits. Now try and apply these methods you have learned to find VA, VB, VC and these currents. Alright, take your time, take 10-15 minutes, whatever it takes to solve and find the answer for this circuit. Alright. After you finish, then you continue. Have patience. Of course, the video will continue. That's why I'm saying you pause the video and then solve and then come back to the video. All right. I am going to continue now. All right. So it turns out that as circuits become larger, your ad hoc methods that you learned in 11th and 12th become very difficult to use, and we need more systematic methods to be able to solve larger and larger circuits. Of course, this circuit is not very large. It has a few nodes and a few branches, but you can imagine circuits with 10 and 20 and 500 and 1 million nodes, and we need systematic methods for solving circuits. So in this lecture and the next, we'll study two such methods. As I said, one is called nodal analysis, which is based on the application of Kirchhoff's current laws, and nodal analysis is more universal. Then we look at mesh analysis, which is based on the application of Kirchhoff's voltage law. This is not used as much as the nodal analysis. Maybe we'll talk about this in a little bit. Okay, so let's go back and look at this circuit. So now we'll apply what I said was nodal analysis to this circuit. Nodal analysis is about solving node voltages. So let's look at this circuit first. First of all, we identify nodes in this circuit. So how many nodes are there in this circuit? So we count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 nodes are there. Alright. The first thing we do is we define any of the 4 nodes. It doesn't matter which one. One of them as ground node. Alright, so I have defined this node as ground node. Now with 3 other nodes, there are therefore 3 unknown node voltages in this circuit, because voltages are always measured with respect to a reference. So we've defined a reference here. So we have 3 unknown voltages. If we find these 3 voltages, then we'll know everything about the circuit, because once we know the voltages, we can find the currents by applying Ohm's law. Alright, so nodal analysis is about finding unknown node voltages. Alright, that is what nodal analysis does. And because we have 3 unknown voltages, we'll need 3 equations, and nodal analysis will write 3 Kirchhoff's current laws at these 3 nodes. Alright, so this is the method. So now let's go through the method here. So here are the equations. So we'll write 3 equations for the 3 nodes. So if at each node we'll write the equation, and as we go along we'll see that there is a method and there is a rhythm to the way these equations turn out. There is a symmetry is the word I was looking for. Okay. So at the node VA, we see there are 5 currents, and again remember our convention will always be that the current leaving a node is positive. So I1, I3, I4 are positive, IA, IB are negative at this node. So we'll say minus IA plus I1 plus I3 plus I4 minus IB equal to 0. Alright, this is KCL. The next thing we'll do is we'll write each of these the currents in this nodal equation as a function of the nodal voltages wherever possible. I mean, this IA is actually a known quantity, so we don't need to do anything with IA and IB. The unknown currents we'll write in terms of node voltages. So let's write, in fact, all 5 currents in terms of node voltages, and we'll use this for writing the nodal equation. So we say I1 is this current flowing out of VA. So I1 is equal to VA minus VC by R1. I1 is all this. I2 is VC minus ground, so 0. So VC by R2. I2 is VC by R2. I3 is VA by R3 because this is ground. I3 is VA by R3. I4 is from VA to VB. So we'll say I4 is VA minus VB by R4. And I5 is VB by R5. So I4 is this, I5 is this. Okay. Alright. As I had noted before a couple of lectures ago, if you note these equations, the current I1 is leaving the node VA. Therefore, VA will appear positive in the expression for I1. The current I4 is leaving the node VA. Therefore, it will appear, the VA will appear positive in the equation for I4. The current I1 is entering the node VC. Therefore, VC will appear negative in I1. Alright, all these things, if you, of course, over a period of time, you'll just get used to this and your brain will automatically write. But in the beginning, if you are careful with this, then you will become very good and very fast at doing nodal analysis. Alright, so we have these. So I've written for VA, then we'll write for VB. So I'm just going to say it here. So this will be I5 minus I4 plus IB equal to 0. And then at VC, we'll get I2 minus I1 plus IA equal to 0. Alright. So minus I4 plus I5 plus IB, IA minus I1 plus I2. And then what we do is, for each of these equations, we'll take the known quantities on the right hand side. So IA and IB are given to us. So we'll take them to the right hand side and the unknowns will stay on the left hand side. So we have 3 equations for VA, for VB, VC. Then of course we'll combine terms. We'll put all the VAs together and VC and VB, and similarly for each one. And this you do, I mean you have to do yourself, and then we'll get this set of equations. So we'll get VA into something minus VB into something minus VC into something, etc., etc. Alright, so we've got 3 equations and 3 unknowns, and we can solve these. Now I'm assuming you are basically familiar with matrices, so I'm going to write this as a matrix of 1 by resistances multiplied by VA, VB, VC on the left hand side and I's on the right hand side. So this is how the matrix looks. Alright, VA, VB, VC, IA plus IB minus IB, IA. This is a matrix. Now this matrix has a very interesting property. So let's think about this property. First of all the diagonal elements are positive. All the non-diagonal elements are either negative or 0. Alright, number 1. Number 2, this is symmetric, the matrix. So this entry is the same as this entry is the same as this entry, and this entry is the same as this entry. So these are properties of matrices, well I should say of networks where we have only current sources and resistances. Okay, when you write nodal equations for a circuit that has only current sources and resistances, then this is what the matrix will look like. Now there is more to it. If you look at the diagonal element of this matrix, let's say the first one, this, recall this is the KCL for the node VA. So at VA, if you look at this node VA, we see that 3 resistances are connected, R1, R3, R4. So all the resistances that are connected to the node VA will appear in the diagonal element for VA in this form: 1 by R1 plus 1 by R3 plus 1 by R4. Then between nodes VA and VB, a resistance R4 is connected. So the second column and a second row corresponds to the node for VB. So then R4 is connected between VA and VB. So it will appear as minus 1 by R4 here, which is between VA and VB, and it will appear here, which is between VB and VA. Alright, so that's why these are the same. R1 is connected between nodes VA and VC, so it will appear as minus 1 by R1 in this non-diagonal element. There is nothing connected between node VB and VC. So this element is 0. Nothing connected between nodes VB and VC. So this element is 0. The current on the right hand side again has the same format or the property that for VA, these are the currents connected to the node VA. Now because we took them to the right hand side, currents entering the node VA will be positive. At VB, IB is connected, it is leaving, so on the right hand side it is negative. At VC, IA is connected and it is leaving, so this is negative. Alright, so in fact once you get familiar with this, you can write this matrix directly for a network which has only current sources and resistances. So even if I give you a circuit with 10 nodes and many resistors and many current sources, you will be able to write the 10 equations simply by looking at the circuit without ever needing to write KCLs. Of course, this property is very limited, has very limited use because there are hardly any circuits that have only current sources and resistances, but it's an interesting property. Alright, so now that we've got these equations, you know how to solve. So I'm not going to give you the solution. You just have to, you have to invert the matrix, and basically you have to find VA, VB, VC. So invert the matrix and then you will be able to write determinants, numerator, denominator, and solve. This is existing knowledge in your brain, so I will not solve the circuit. But now this is the method. Alright. Okay, let's do one example for this type of network with only current sources and resistors. And this is of course a very simple network. But what I am doing here is I am writing directly the KCL in terms of voltages and not writing. So, okay, so let's look at this first. So this has 3 nodes, one node, second node, third node. I have defined this node to be ground. One thing that is useful to do while defining the ground node is to choose a node that has a maximum number of connections. This just simplifies the equations. It really doesn't matter which node you could treat as ground, but choosing a node judiciously will simplify our equations. Okay, so this is ground, and then we have one node here, one node here. So we need to write 2 KCLs, one at this node, one at this node. So the KCL at this node will be I1 plus I2 plus 4 ampere equal to 0. And so I am writing that directly here. So VA by 10 is I1, VA minus VB by 5 is I2 is equal to minus 4. And similarly at this node we say VB by 5 plus VB minus VA by 5. Alright, that is the current leaving this node. The current leaving this node is VB minus VA by 5 equal to 4. If you are not sure about this, what you do is you say, okay, I3 minus I2 minus 4 equal to 0. Then you find I3 in term, I3 is VB by 5, and you say I minus I2. I2 is VA minus VB by 5. So minus I2 is VB minus VA by 5. So you get this. Alright, so this is how you get these equations. Now I'm leaving it to you to solve. If you solve, you will find that VA is equal to minus 10. VB is equal to 5. And let us find all the currents also. So I1 is VA by 10. VA is minus 10. So we get I1 equal to minus 1 ampere. I2 is VA minus VB by 5. VA minus VB minus 10 minus 5 by 5, which is minus 3 amps. And I3 is VB by 5. VB by 5 is 1 ampere. Alright, so what we see is, of course, that the currents may turn out to be negative. We've assumed some arbitrary direction for I1, I2, and that direction, if the current is flowing in the opposite direction, the current will simply turn out to be negative. Alright, you are going to solve a lot of nodal analysis problems in your homework, because the only way you'll eventually learn nodal analysis is when you yourself solve problems with it. Okay, now let's add to the complication of this circuit. So this circuit has only current sources and resistors. Now let's see what happens if there are voltage sources also in the circuit. Okay, before this, all right, I'm sorry. So these are the nodal analysis steps. This is a revision of what I just said in the last 10 minutes. So we identify all the nodes. We define one node as ground. We label the rest n minus 1 nodes. And then we'll need to write n minus 1 KCLs for these n minus 1 unknown voltages. We'll convert the KCLs to, well, currents in the KCLs to voltages and circuit element values. Okay, this thing important, very important. Never ever write a KCL at the ground node. Okay, do not write a KCL at the ground node, and you please think why. You please think why one should not write a KCL at the ground node. Okay, right now I'm not answering this. You can't answer, we'll come back and discuss this sometime in a live session. Okay, now once we've written, then we solve these n minus 1 equations. Okay, now let's go back to adding a voltage source to the circuit. So let's say this is our circuit. So we have one current source and one voltage source. And there's a bit of not clear, but this is VA and this is VB. And this current is I0. Okay, so there are three nodes, one is ground. So we need two equations to solve these two voltages. VA and VB are the unknowns. Our goal is to find VA and VB. So we begin by writing KCLs at both these nodes. So at VA, we will write, I'm sorry, so I've written at VB first. So at VB, we'll write VB minus VA by R2 plus VB by R3 minus I0 equal to 0. I0 goes to the right hand side, so we get one equation. The second equation we write is at this node, VA by R1 plus VA minus VB by R2 and minus IS equal to 0. Alright, where this current IS is the current flowing supplied by VS. Now we said that for writing KCLs, we want to convert all currents to nodal voltages. So can we want to write IS in terms of nodal voltages. Can we write it? Can we write the current flowing through a voltage source in terms of, let's say, Vs? Can we write? The answer is no, we cannot, because as we have seen when we discuss the properties of a voltage source, the current in a voltage source can be anything. It can be any value between plus infinity and minus infinity. Just by looking at this circuit, we cannot say how much Is is. Is will be found only when we solve the circuit, but that doesn't help. So in fact, what has happened is that when we add a voltage source to a circuit, we have one more unknown. We have VA as an unknown, VB as an unknown, and IS becomes the third unknown. So instead of two equations, we need three equations. So two we have written here. What is the third equation? The third equation, of course, is the fact that we already know how much VA is. because a voltage source is connected directly to the node VA. So in fact, we know that VA is simply equal to Vs. This VA is simply equal to Vs. So that becomes our third equation. So we have three equations and three unknowns, and we can solve them. This method of writing the nodal equations, including currents in voltage sources, is called as modified nodal analysis. And this is a method that almost all circuit simulators use. So you will be using circuit simulators starting this semester. You will be using multisim, and then you will use different versions of a simulator called SPICE. All of them use modified nodal analysis to solve circuits. When we are doing this on paper, we really don't need to solve for IS, because so if you look at these three equations, IS occurs only in the equation for VA, alright, but VA is already a known quantity, so we simply don't need to write this equation at all. We can just write the two equations and then solve them. In other words, whenever there is a voltage source connected, whenever there is a voltage source connected between a node and ground, we know the node voltage at that node, that is simply Vs. Therefore, if we have two node voltages in the n-1 nodes in the circuit and one voltage source, we simply don't write a KCL at the node at which a voltage source is connected. This is a KCL. Instead of the KCL, we simply write the value of the voltage itself. And then we have two equations and two unknowns, and we can solve them. Alright, what happens if the voltage source is not connected to ground? So let's look at that example. So that is called a floating voltage source. So here we have a circuit, two current sources, one voltage source, three nodes again, one VA, VB and ground. Okay, so let's write the KCLs first and see what we will do with them. So at the node VA, we'll say VA by 6, and then we'll call this current IS. So you say VA by 6 minus IS minus 1.5 equal to 0. So we get this equation. At this node, we'll get VB by 3 plus IS equal to minus 3.5. And the third equation is this. Alright, if there is a voltage source connected between two nodes, then we say VB minus VA is 12 volts. That is a known quantity. So we have three equations, three unknowns, VA, VB and IS. So the two equations come from KCL. The third equation comes from relating the nodal voltages to the voltage source itself. So that is VB minus VA equal to 12. Now IS occurs in two equations, but the two equations for across which the voltage source is connected. So IS appears in the KCL for these two nodes VA and VB. In one equation it will be negative, in the other equation it will be positive. So as it is here. So we can easily get rid of IS by simply adding these two equations. Alright, so if we add these two, then IS goes away, and then we get 1 plus 2 equal to all these big things. So this element is IS, and then we are left with two equations. This is one equation, this is the other equation, and two unknowns. So we've reduced the number of equations by 1 by adding the two equations, the two KCLs across which the voltage source is connected. Now if you look at this equation, this is actually the KCL written for a closed surface that encloses this voltage source. Alright, let us say, KCL can be applied not just to a node but to any closed surface, because ultimately KCL is a statement of the conservation of charge, that as much charge that enters a node, it must leave, and the same is true for a closed surface, because the charge entering must be equal to the charge leaving. So if we write a KCL for this closed surface, alright, the surface that encloses this voltage source, and if we enclose it, then the currents leaving will be this, this, this and this. And this whole thing is enclosed inside and we don't care what is going on inside. When we do that, this is called a supernode. So what we do is, whenever there is a voltage source that is floating, if we want to avoid getting Is into our equations, what we do is we write a KCL at a supernode which encloses that voltage source and Is inside it, and so Is doesn't enter or come out of that supernode, and then we write a KCL for the four, in this case 4 branches that are coming out of that supernode, which is these 4 terms in this case, in this equation. All right. Now let us, so this is to summarize what happens if there are voltage sources in the circuit. If the voltage source is connected to ground, we will not write a KCL at the node to which the voltage source is connected. Instead of that, we will write VA equal to Vx, where Vx is the value of the voltage source. If the voltage source is connected between some nodes VB and VC, then we will write a KCL for a node that encloses VB and VC. Alright, so we'll get one less equation, and then we'll add one equation by writing VB minus VC equal to Vy, which is the value of the voltage source. This will be plus or minus depending on the polarity of the voltage connection between VB and VC. Alright. Now let's add one more type of element to this network, which is a dependent source. So let's say this is our circuit. So we have resistors and we have one voltage source here, and we have a dependent source here. And what we are told is that the value of this voltage is 4 VA, where VA is this voltage. Alright, so the value of this voltage source depends on a voltage somewhere else. Okay, so now we want to write KCLs. So first of all, there are 4 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 is ground. So we need 3 equations. But what we notice is that there are 2 voltage sources, and therefore we actually can write equations for this node and this node directly in terms of these voltages. So we'll say V1 is equal to 12 volts, so that becomes our first equation. We say V3 is equal to 4 VA, that becomes our second equation. And the third equation, in fact, VA is this voltage. So VA is simply VA here, and all we need is one KCL at this node. So I am writing that directly. So it's a VA minus 12 divided by 2 kilo ohms plus VA divided by 4 kilo ohms plus VA minus V3 divided by 6 kilo ohms equal to 0. Alright, but V3 is 4 VA, so we can substitute for V3 here and we'll get an equation only in VA, and that you can solve, and if we solve we'll get VA equal to 24 volts. And suppose I had to find I, the current, then the current I is how much? This current is the same as this current. Alright, so we find the current through a voltage source by writing a KCL at the node at which it is connected. So here of course there is only one other connection. So we say this current is equal to this current. This current is VA minus V3 by 6 kilo ohms. And we know VA, so we can find, and it turns out to be minus 12 milliamps. Milli because this is kilo in the denominator. Alright, this is. Now let us look at one last example where we have a dependent current source. So this is a very simple circuit, very simple. So we have two nodes, ground, and one node voltage is known, it is 4 volts. So we again need to write only one equation for this node, and we are told that this current is equal to 5Ia, where Ia is this current. Alright, so let's write the equation. So we say VB by 4 plus VB minus VA by 8. Now VA is 4 volts, so we say VB minus 4 by 8. So this is VB minus 4 by 8 plus VB by 4, and then minus this current 5Ia equal to 0. So we've got one equation, but we need to find Ia in terms of nodal voltages. Alright, so that's what we do. So Ia is VA minus VB by 8. Ia is VA minus VB by 8. VA is 4. So we say Ia is 4 minus VB by 8. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, this 5 is not right. I'm sorry. Ignore this 5. Ia is 4 minus VB by 8, and then 5Ia appears here. So this 5 is incorrect. And so we substitute Ia here, and we get an equation only in VB, which we can solve. And once we found VB, we can find Ia also. Alright, so that is all types of nodal analysis. Next lecture, we'll discuss mesh analysis.